This video is to explain converting metric units using the metric system here. So I use this acronym: King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. You've probably heard of that before, but that helps you remember the order in which your units fall in relationship to each other. The King Henry died, those all represent measurements that are bigger than your base unit. Your base unit could be a meter or a liter or a gram, and it all falls in this base 10 number system. So for example, if we have 1 meter, we know that a decameter is 10 times bigger than that, a hectometer is 100 times bigger than that, and a kilometer is 1,000 times bigger than that. Whereas if we have 1 meter and we move to the right, a decimeter is a tenth of that, a centimeter is 100th, and a millimeter is 1,000th. I'm going to give a strategy for using this system to help you write your conversions. So, for example, if I wanted to write a unit rate, and remember a unit rate is a fraction equal to 1. So let's say I wanted to know, and I'm just going to come up with two measurements. Like I wanted to know how many centimeters are in a meter. I'm going to put a 1 beside the number that is further to the left in my acronym here. So where do we see, which one do we see first, meter or centimeter, as we move from left to right? So I'm going to put a 1 here because again my base could be meter, liter, or gram. That's just depending on what you're measuring, length, volume, or weight. So I'm going to put a 1 here, and then I'm going to fill in zeros until I get to my other unit. So I know the 1 goes with centimeters, meters, because the meters is further to the left, making it larger. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So that's an example of how I would come up with a unit rate using this acronym. If I wanted to do another one, I could come down here with this problem number 6, where you're trying to convert millimeters and you need to get it to inches. So when I come up here to this chart that they gave me, which is very helpful but not quite helpful enough because the common unit to inches is going from centimeters to inches. So I first need to get millimeters. I first need to get that millimeters amount to centimeters. So 2,500 millimeters times, and we know we put the millimeters on the bottom so that that cancels out and leaves me with centimeters. So I need to go back up here and use my King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So I'm going to put a 1 beside whichever one is to the left. So when I go from left to right, what do I see first? Do I see centimeters or do I see millimeters first? I see centimeters first, meaning centimeters is my larger unit. Then fill in zeros until I get to millimeters. So I have a 1 0, so that is 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. Then I can include my 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 inch. Millimeters cancels, centimeters cancels, so I am dividing by 10, 2,500 divided by 10, and then divided by 2.54 to get my final answer of inches. And if we do another example here, so this has me going from meters to miles. And when I look in my chart, a mile is equal to 1.61 kilometers. So I first need to go from meters to kilometers. So meters to kilometers. then I can get from kilometers to miles. So let's start with 800 meters. We're going to put meters on the bottom and kilometers on the top so that meters will cancel. Now we just need to figure out how many meters are in a kilometer. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. I'm going to put the 1 beside whichever measurement is to the left. So here's meters. My base unit is meters, liters, or grams, and we're talking about meters this time. So is that to the left of kilometers? Here's kilometers. No, the kilometers is further to the left, which means the kilometer is the largest unit. So I'm going to put a 1 there, and then I'm going to fill in zeros for each placement that I move, giving me 1,000 meters is equal to a kilometer. So it should make sense that anything that's furthest to the left is bigger, therefore there is going to be zeros with the number that you're converting that to. A kilometer is larger than a meter, so it takes 1,000 meters to equal 1 kilometer. Then I can include my unit rate that they give me. 1.61 kilometers is equal to 1 mile. Miles cancels. Sorry. That's miles and meters down here. Meters we already canceled. We're left with miles. Kilometers cancels. Meters cancels. And when I divide 800 by 1,000 and then divide again by 1.61, my answer would be in terms of miles. Thank you.